a practicing dentist. I have multiple businesses in the dental sector, and I was using a accountant since I started business, really, for over nearly 20 years. And I'd been with him because I trusted him, and I then met Gary, who changed my opinion on what trust should be like and how it's earned and things like that. I think I realised quite early on that there was a massive variation in what I thought was a good professional accountant and tax planning very, very quickly on. Like I said, I've been in business for many years, and I thought that pretty much all accountants and all tax planners were the same. It's a bit like saying all dentists are the same, which is clearly not the case. So in my previous world and working with my previous accountant, I found that I kind of just left it to him, and every year I'd meet him once a year and we'd just go through what I owed the tax man, and I just paid it, and that was kind of my role. And that was difficult because I had no idea of how things should be structured, how things should be arranged in terms of inheritance tax, potentially mitigating tax in a legal way. And then I met Gary, and I went to Gary because I was in distress, actually. That's the reason I met Gary. I was having a really bad time. I'd had a horrible tax bill come through to me, which I wasn't expecting. It was hundreds and hundreds of thousands of pounds. I kind of looked to my accountant for some help and some guidance. He was highly recommended when I started with him because in my industry there's a forum called the BDA, the British Dental Association, and he was on their recommended list. So I thought, he's got to be good. This guy's got to be good. He's on the BDA list. And I'd just blindly trusted him for 10 years. So after all these years, I have this tax bill and I'm shocked and I don't know what to do. And I'd met Gary at an event and I'd taken his number, and it'd been about a year since I'd spoken to him. So I called him in a blind panic and went, Gary, I've got this problem. And he said, okay, let's have a look at it. And very quickly, I think within a couple of days, he popped round. I had my head in my hands. I was like, I don't know what to do, where am I going to come up with this money from? And he sort of said, don't worry, we'll sort it. And he had a Zoom meeting with my accountant. And that's where things changed, because I really trusted my accountant. I thought he was the guy who knew what he was doing. And within about 10 minutes of that conversation on Zoom, I think I saw a bead of sweat dripping down my accountant's face. And I realised at that point, perhaps my advice wasn't the best. Gary then subsequently, I'm going to say, tore my accounts up, quite literally. Moved things around in a very quick, efficient, tax-efficient, life-efficient way. Moved my accountants. I can honestly tell you it's been the best thing I've ever done. I'm so happy I moved it. I wish I'd done it at the outset. The total 360 wraparound care I've received from AMG, his team, Gary in particularly, has just been just incredible. Just absolutely incredible. I never thought or expected to have a relationship with my accountant and my finance team the way I do, but because my accounts team know that Gary's involved, they're constantly on their A game. And it's weird, they don't even talk to me unless they've run it past Gary first, which makes my life just so much easier, because I'm not a finance man, I'm a dentist. I'm good at filling teeth and putting implants in, that's what I do for a living. This isn't a skill set I was taught at university. I'm a business owner, and maybe I should know more about it, but it's not something that floats my boat. Having the right team around me now makes my life a lot better. And also looking to the future with my kids and inheritance planning and how am I going to pass on all my hard-earned pounds to them, it's just very different to how it would have been if I'd have stayed with my old accountant. Since I moved to AMG Wealth, I feel like I understand my finances a lot better. I understand what management accounts are, I understand what my taxation's going to be, I understand what I've done to mitigate it, I understand where my potential savings can be, my benchmarking, and all this has come about because of Gary. So not only is my taxation looked after, but my business day-to-day running, I have a real, very easy pulse on what my income outgoing, what's going to come ahead, how I can forecast. If I want to spend a bit more on kit, how can I do that? How can I budget that? Is there any tax mitigation on that? So if there's any schemes that I can invest in, that I can buy, say, the latest dental chair, I know it sounds very cliche, but all these things otherwise I had no idea about. So the future looks a lot better than the past. I would wholeheartedly recommend AMG to anybody in business. If you're looking to understand your business better, even though you think you might know your own business, but really understand what makes it work, really understand what that business can do for you, so that at some stage you might step out of it and it's still a running business, it's not just a well-paid job. Maybe even thinking about an exit. So 3, 4, 5, 6 years before you exit, instead of that last 2 to 3 years where you're running around trying to get your EBITDAs right, I would recommend joining or contacting AMG and do it now.